Let me explain you ingredients that are found in a shampoo. If you're new to my channel and if you're not, welcome back. I'm Mike. I'm a hairdresser, a L'Oreal colour specialist, a makeup fan and a skincare lover. In today's film, I will be explaining to you and discussing certain ingredients that you can find in your hair shampoo. Also, I will be showing you how to correctly read the label and determine whether your shampoo is good or it's a heap of dirt. So, if you want to find out more about ingredients in your shampoo and the content of your shampoo, then you better keep on watching. What is the story, everyone? In today's film, we are talking about ingredients found in your shampoos. Because when you pick up your bottle of shampoo and you see a load of ingredients, you're like, okay, it's just name of chemicals and you don't really know what it is. Also, at the very end of this film, I will be showing you the difference between ingredients in a professional versus drugstore shampoo. Because when you actually look at the ingredients list, it actually does not tell you in percentages how much of each ingredient is in the shampoo. Obviously, when you're looking at the label, the first ingredient means that there's most amount of that ingredient in that shampoo. But sometimes people just tell me, well Mike, if you look at professional and drugstore shampoo, they both have the same ingredients. Right you guys, so let's talk about certain ingredients found in shampoos. The most common ingredient in the shampoo is agua, and agua is water. And like any liquid product, most products are composed of water, and this ingredient is not harmful, it's basically just water. The second most common ingredient in every shampoo would be your lathering agent. So that would be sodium lauryl sulfate and lauryl sulfate. They're very similar, they just spelled slightly differently. So basically sulfates are your lathering agents, so those ingredients will make your shampoo lather. I mean, I spoke about this before. Depending on the shampoo, I do not find sulfates bad, and I did do a full film on sulfates that I'm going to link above here. Glycol distearate is another ingredient found in shampoo, and glycol distearate is basically a skin conditioning agent, but glycol distearate can actually trigger acne. Glycerin is another ingredient that's common in most hair care, and glycerin is a solvent and it is very good for dry skin. So glycerin is very much a hydrating ingredient that's gonna hydrate the hair. Salicylic acid is a skin conditioning agent and it fights acne, and it is good for oily skin. However, it is very bad for sensitive skin. So if your scalp is in any way sensitive, try to stay away from salicylic acid. And like that, if we know any balancing shampoos for oily scalp, salicylic acid will be one of the ingredients. Citric acid. Citric acid is a very, very interesting ingredient because citric acid is a pH adjuster, and as we all know, hair works on a pH scale. So our hair likes to sit anywhere between 4.5 to 5.5, and our water is number 7, so it is neutral. So when we wash our hair, our pH levels are slightly lifted, so those pH adjusters like citric acid will bring the hair back to its natural pH. Citric acid is also anti-aging, but it is bad for sensitive skin. Dimetticone. And if you've watched me, you probably know what dimetticone is. It's a silicone. Anything that finishes with a C-O-N-E is a silicone. And they are non-water soluble silicone. Anything that has PEG in it, that's a water soluble silicone, and I did do a full film on silicone, so if you want to find out more about this, I'm gonna link it just above here. Sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is another pH balancer, so it's gonna work on the pH scale of the hair, and I swear to God, you guys, those words are not easy to pronounce. Linalcol, limonene, and alba lysimetry limonene. Oh my God. So those are usually fragrances. So sometimes when you look at the bottle, it will say at the very end fragrances, but sometimes they hide fragrances within chemicals. So they actually use chemicals that are fragrances, if that makes sense. So brands tend to cheat people because they do not have to disclose everything, and you're lucky that you're watching me because I do a lot of research when it comes to that. So there are certain chemicals that work as fragrances, but are not classified as fragrances, if that makes sense. Cocobetamine. Cocobetamine is very common in most hair care products, and cocobetamine is a conditioning agent. Now, let me just say that I am literally taking out the most common ingredients, so we're not going deep inside into like formulas and their active ingredients. Those are just ingredients that you might find in any shampoo. Benzoyl salicylic. Now, benzoyl salicylic is a very, very interesting ingredient because like that, it works as a fragrance, but also it has UV absorption properties. So it means it's not only a fragrance, but it will also absorb the UV and protect your hair from UV light. So like that, certain ingredients might have one or two properties. Now, pantolon. Pantolon is another ingredient found in many, many shampoos. Pantolon is good for dry hair. It is a conditioning agent, but also pantolon, what it does, it actually provides healing of the wound. So it helps to heal wounds. So that ingredient has many, many interesting properties. Now you guys, so those were just some ingredients that we find in shampoos, and like that, when we read a label, you're like, oh, what is cocamine, or what is disodium, and what is glycol distearate? You just think they're a lot of harmful chemicals when they are actually not. Right, so like I said, imagine we have a professional and a drugstore shampoo, right? And we look at the ingredient list, and they both have water, they both have sodium lauryl sulfate, they both have cocobetamine. So the first three ingredients are the same, right? So what is so different about it? And we actually don't know how much of that ingredient is in that shampoo. So I actually provided you with a visual. Over here we have a professional shampoo versus drugstore, right? And I used pasta because I had a lot of pasta in my house. Right, so let's look at the professional shampoo first. Imagine we have a shampoo, and this is a professional shampoo, and this is a drugstore shampoo, and those shampoos only have 3 ingredients, right? Let's make it simple. So when you look at the label, water is gonna be your #1 ingredient, then we're gonna have sodium lauryl sulfate, and then we're gonna have cocobetamine. So when we look at those 2 shampoos, we're like, oh yeah, one costs €20 and one costs €5, but I mean the ingredients are the same. Now, right you guys, so I made this little visual. We have 3 ingredients. The most amount of ingredient in that one is water. So imagine penne pasta is your water, and then the shells are your sodium lauryl sulfate, and then fossil fuel pasta is your cocobetamine, right? So we have 3 ingredients. We have the most amount of it is water, then we have our sodium lauryl sulfate, and then we have cocobetamine. So if I'm going to put that on the label, water is going to come in first because there is most amount of it, then we have sodium lauryl sulfate, which there is a lot of it too, and cocobetamine is last on the list. Now, this is my cheap shampoo for €5, and like that. Now, when we look at our cheap shampoo, the ingredient list is the same. Agua, water, is our primarily ingredient, so there's a large amount of water we can see. Then we have sodium lauryl sulfate, which is the second ingredient in it, and cocobetamine. Now, we have all those 3 ingredients in it, right? And the label is going to be the exact same. But at what ratio are we talking about? This shampoo is going to be a lot more watered down, and it's going to contain a lot more sulfates and less of the good stuff, which is cocobetamine, when this shampoo has less water, less sulfates, and a bit more cocobetamine. Even though those 2 shampoos have the same amount of water, because by law, companies do not have to tell you how much of each ingredient is in a bottle, they just have to list it down. I mean, they both have water, they both have sulfates, they both have cocobetamine, but at what concentration? Does that kind of make sense? I think it's easier to visualize it, and like that, when you actually look at the ratio, we don't know the ratio. That's why, let's say, professional shampoos will not lather as much, because they're a lot more concentrated. Right, you guys, when it comes to ingredients, it is very interesting to read what ingredient does what, because the ingredients are very important when it comes to shampoos. And the ratio of the ingredients, we just don't know. Obviously, professional shampoos will be a lot more concentrated, so they will probably have more of the good stuff, and less of the bad stuff. Anyways guys, thank you for watching today's film. I hope you found this film interesting, helpful and useful. Please like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. Also check out my other social media. And of course you guys, please take care. Bye.